ChatGPT has been known to completely transform content writing. In this video, we will be talking about using ChatGPT in such a way that you will have a choice of selecting text from a table, which you can use to keep tabs on the changes you have made. So stay tuned. So, how do we begin with this particular suggestion? Well, we are going to start off from typing a line which says the following: I have something, which needs a bit of editing and changes. Now comes the important part. Generate a table of 5, or any number you'd like, suggestions, or recommendations for the topic or text, which requires editing with numbers on the left column. Now, let's try to break down this prompt for your understanding. As we have previously mentioned in our videos, ChatGPT works best when the prompt itself is context-based. This means that as long as your prompt is specific to a field, you will have relevant answers. This field or text or whatever you want suggestions on from ChatGPT will come in the brackets of the prompt. Now, let's try to understand why we have suggestions specifically laid out in numbers in a separate column. This is because we want to keep a record of the changes that are taking place. Additionally, you would want ChatGPT to add a log of the changes you made. Now, for the purpose of illustration, let's come up with text for which we can ask for improvements from ChatGPT. Here's the text. The Dark Knight, as a movie, describes the concept of a hero, and how a hero can be a very unpopular figure too, contrary to what everyone seems to think. The movie also makes a distinction between traditional antagonists and the character of Joker. Alright, so this seems like a very interesting text. Let's see the changes which ChatGPT can recommend to us. So ChatGPT has recommended 5 changes as per the instructions we've given it. We cannot pick and add all the changes, but let's try to work with 2 of these changes which ChatGPT gave us. So, the first suggestion was to add more context to the characters in the story so that the characters feel grounded. Let's add that suggestion and see how the end product looks like. So, with the added suggestion, the end product looks something like this. The Dark Knight is a journey of evolution of a hero as he seems to take on responsibility that his city demands. The journey was made inevitable by an anarchic character, the Joker, who does not want to wield power over the people of Gotham, but only to show that deep down everyone was as morally depraved as him. Alright, so the text looks much more polished and seems contextualized. Also, let's try to implement another suggestion which ChatGPT recommended, namely, add a conclusive paragraph to end so that the text seems to have a proper closure. Now, after implementing the suggestion, ChatGPT gives us this. The Dark Knight presents a fitting conclusion between an unflinching defender of Gotham and an unstoppable force of evil. The defender successfully saves the souls of Gotham by sacrificing his own character in the public perception. This is the cost of being the savior, as he shows to the Joker that Gotham is not as perverted. Alright, now add it after the main text. This seems like a very concise conclusion. But let's try to squeeze in more text, which can provide a more fitting example. Let us give an example of personal statement. Here's the prompt. I have a personal statement which needs editing. Generate a table of 5 major edits that you want to make with this personal statement in a numbered column. Here's the text. I have a bachelor's in computer science and want to apply my knowledge in the field of pharmaceutical science. The reason is that there is a huge room of applications of computer-related knowledge within the medical industry. Now let's see the recommendations given to us by ChatGPT and consider the number 1 suggestion. The first suggestion says to provide background of your academic proficiency and how it relates to your desired program at the graduate level. Alright, now let's look at the actual edit itself. Medicine as a field requires digitization to keep up with the demands of the modern society. In this context, computer science has a natural overlap with the field of medicine, and I think that it is this alliance which makes me a natural candidate to pursue a graduate degree with intersectionality between computer science and pharmaceutical science. Not bad, eh? Now, let's talk about the second major edit, which ChatGPT recommends. Individualize your personal statement by adding anecdotes or experience from your own life. Now let's see how ChatGPT implements its own suggestion. Now before we talk about these suggestions, a brief disclaimer. The personal details are fairly generic and may be common to many personal statements out there. You may want to add your own personal flair to these details, so here are the details. The field of medicine has always had a sense of urgency. Human lives are extremely frail, and without the development of adequate advances in the medical field, the average life expectancy would have been much lower and the quality of life would have suffered as well. However, computer science has a lot of potential now in contributing towards the field of example through computation of genome sequence, which is the major focus of computational biology. The passing of any loved one left an indelible imprint on my mind, and I have always felt a passion to do something for the people who have been suffering from this medical issue. So, the above addition fits perfectly in our personal statement. Now let's work with the final prompt, which includes a question. I am prone to anxiety. Give me 5 recommendations for working through this issue. Here again, we come across 5 recommendations which have been tailored to this prompt. Let's see what are the changes which ChatGPT gives us. Add more specific details. The log changes which are included in this prompt are: my worries have a way of interrupting my routine. I find myself overthinking too many hours in a day. Sometimes, the anxiety is so bad that I feel my heartbeat increase and I notice sweat beads rolling down my forehead. Alright, so these seem like symptoms of anxiety and panic disorder, and they provide specificity to the prompt. They also give more body to the prompt in question, especially if you're talking to a counselor through a virtual appointment. Now let's talk about another change which ChatGPT recommends us. Mention any self-help or self-medication techniques that you have used for getting better. A logged example of this can be, I have tried to keep a journal which details my anxiety episodes over a period of time. I have also tried outlining my panic attacks and the underlying thoughts in full detail. However, even mentioning these thoughts in full detail have not worked to improve my anxiety. Again, what it does is give more concentrate details about your specific case. This would be a huge help since the counselor now knows what works and what doesn't. So with the help of 3 different prompts through a numbered recommendation list, we are able to keep a log of all changes that have been made to the original text, and also undo some of the changes we do not like to see in our original text. This is an excellent way of making precise modifications to your original proposal statement or even an official email. I hope you found this video informative. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Be sure to check this video about Unlock the 10 times smarter BrainBot, discover the power of ChatGPT prompt engineering,